Hey guys, so let me do a quick recap on what we did last time, as we always do. So we created a Cucumber project for handling Selenium test cases, and we are right now trying to automate uh, e-commerce website, and that e-commerce website is Amazon is what we are trying to automate. So we created our first test case here, and we automated these steps, and we wrote their step definition files here. And previously in the first video, what we were doing was directly writing driver.findElements, and then we were writing XPaths directly here. So locator were being hard coded here. And then what we did, we modified it, these step definitions, and we introduced page object model. So we created two page object model files. One is for common page objects, and we migrated all our locators from this step def file to our common page objects file. And the same thing is what we intended to do for this, but there's a small difference which we talk about later. So if you remember what we discussed last time, this is what I am validating. And in terms of what I am validating, let me tell you that first, so that I could establish some context. So I actually searched Dell here. As soon as I searched for Dell, the list which I'm getting is having Dell in their description, right? So Dell coming here, Dell coming here, Dell coming here, and that is basically how I would know that the search functionality is working fine, and that is what I would include as a validation criteria for my test case. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fetch all these descriptions one after another, or not one after another, inside a collection. So directly I will fetch everything from here, and I'm going to iterate that collection, that list, and I'm going to search for a keyword called as Dell. And if this DELL Dell is appearing there in that description, then I would say the test case is pass, else I would say test case is fail. If there is a description coming where is no DELL text present, that simply means that the search functionality is having some defect. That is, it's displaying products which is not relevant, and that is not right behavior of a search functionality, isn't it? So let me do that. So for the sake of simplicity, what I did was I found an XPath, and I was only validating that in the first XPath which I was getting. So when I did driver.findElement and by.xpath, findElement will give me only first instance of that matching locator. So let me just show you first how many locators were, or how many elements I was able to locate using this XPath. So I'll go and click a right click. I'll do a right click on inspect, and let me bring it down, and I will click on control find and do this. So if you notice, I'm getting 16, one of 16 products. So if I click this, it will take me to the different products. How did I come to know this? Because I created this XPath. You know, this span / here means, don't worry, I'm going to take another session on XPath on how to write XPaths, but for now you can memorize it this way. So this / means find anywhere in the page a element which has a tag as span, which is coming here like this, and whose attribute as class, right? So when you see something as like this means this is an attribute, and to point to an attribute, you need to append it @ in the front as a prefix. So I've written here @class equal to, and then a single quote, its value, right? So as soon as I do this, I'm going to get all the web elements in this page which matches this XPath. Right now I'm getting 16 of these matching XPaths. So the point is, if I'm going to do a find element for this inside my driver script, Selenium script, I'm going to get all of these products. But there's a small difference. It depends what method I'm calling. So if I'm calling .findElement, it's going to give me the first instance of it in the page, which is this element, this one, right? But I don't want to do it. I did it because I wanted to keep my test simple for a demonstration purposes, but now I need to extend it. I need to validate everything, otherwise my test case will not be complete test case. It will be checking only the first text, whether Dell is coming in the first description. What if something is going wrong with the corresponding or other product's description, right? So I need to make some changes here, and to make those changes, I need to write I need to call a method called as dot find element. If you see here, find element and find element. If you notice, find element here is returning a single web element, whereas find elements is returning a list of web element. I'll try to explain what this list of web element in a minute. But before we even make those changes here, how about making this, instead of writing these locators here, how about we move this to our page object model? So the page object model which we're going to create for this should be similar to what we already created. So it is common page object which we created earlier. We kind of follow the same model. So model is very, very simple of any page object model. I'll just summarize. First, you need to define a WebDriver. Then you need to define the locators. In the locators, you need to use by annotation. You can, however, use, there are many ways to do it if you're using Page Factory. If you're using Page Factory, then in that case, and then you're going to have a constructor, which is a parameterized constructor, which accepts a driver. And when you instantiate this class, you need to pass a driver, which is being initialized outside. And when you send this here, it gets assigned to the local WebDriver. And that is what actually does your actual, find elements and does the operations. Yeah, so same model is what we're going to implement for search page object. So maybe I'll just copy these here and I will paste it. And let me change the name of the constructor here. Yeah, so I'll remove this one. And remember, we need to make these elements private. The idea is that these elements should not be accessible outside. This is a fundamental principle of page object model. The elements should not be directly accessible outside. So what we're going to do is, let me copy this XPath from here, because we need this XPath to be available. And I think I have explained this in the last video, which is why I'm keeping this inside search page objects is perhaps the page which you see right now is a search page object. And page object model dictates that you have to logically segregate or bifurcate your application pages. So in this case, common page objects, I'm using this class I'm using to store all the elements which are common and coming on all the pages. So if you see at the top, this is coming on all pages, this is coming on all pages, these all are coming on all pages. So if I had to add all these, I'm going to put those inside my common page objects. Now this page which you see right now is another page, which is a search page object. So whatever is coming inside this page, I'm going to add that inside search page object. So this logical division has to be there, and you have to identify it for your own project. For typical e-commerce is what this is going to be. So this is search page objects. I will make it as by.xpath, and in the expression I'm going to put my elements description. So this is the same XPath which I wrote here. Okay, the same XPath which I'll just copy. Okay, it's the same anyway. So this is actually list, or I should say product list, something like that. Okay. Now next is what we're going to do is I'm going to create methods, public methods, to do something with it. So what I actually want to do with this is just to fetch their text. All I need to do for this right now, I don't want to click it. All I want is to fetch the text of it. So in Selenium, there are good methods available to do that. Let me show you. So what I'll do, I'll create a method called as public void, and I'll create a validator method. So validate product list, and I'm going to create a parameter here, string product name, and inside this I'm going to write driver dot. Now here this time I'm going to use find element. So this is the difference. Find element will give me 1, find elements will give me all, only if the XPath which you're using is returning those many elements, only then it will return you those many elements. Otherwise it will still be having single cell in that list. So find elements, if you see list of web elements, so I'm going to capture the return of this statement inside list of web element. So let me first select this, and the by here is this, by object is this, which is already defined as XPath is already defined, and I'm going to create a list of web element. Okay, I'm going to say give it a name as list of products. As simple as that. Now, once I get this, all I need to do is to iterate it. Now, if you have any doubt what this is, let me maybe show you with a diagram here, okay? So you know what list is? List is relatively simple. Now, this is a collection concept, by the way, but list is relatively simple to understand. You must have, if you are from computer background, you must have some idea how arrays and lists, these things work. But still, I am going to draw something so that you get some perspective. So this is, let's say, a list, and let's assume we have elements here, okay? Sorry, my diagram is not very precise. So these are elements. This is my 0th element. This is my first element. And this is my second element. This is my third element, and so on and so forth. This is my 4th element. So when I say something like list of string, it simply means that in each of these elements, I have these strings here, okay? So this is a list of strings, okay? Now, when I say list of web element, right? So this simply means that inside each of these cells which you have in this list, we have another object, and that object is of the type of web element. All right. So that is how it is organized. So inside each of these elements, I have a web element stored, and that web element in our case is a web element which is representing a product. Okay, so all the products which you see here, let me switch back to the screen here. So all the links which you see here are going to be stored in a list of web elements. Okay, so list of web elements. So there's a list which in each of the elements inside that list we have another object, and that object is of the type of web element. And since there is an object of that type web element, we could apply all the web element methods which is available for web element. I'm going to show that. So let me go here. Now, since list of products is here, let's say I want to access the first element. Let's say I want to get the text of first element. So what I'll do, I'll write the collection object name dot get. When I do a get, and when I do a 0, it's something similar to array. Okay, so 0th will give me the first, 1 will give me the second, second will give me the third, something like that. It starts with 0, by the way. Now this will give me access to a web element. Okay, now web element has those methods which you can see here. So there's a specific method in this web element called as get text, and that is what I'm right now interested in. If I want to get tag name, I could use get tag name. If I'm interested in get attribute, I need to select this, and I will send what the attribute is, what is needed, and when I pass that, it will return me the attribute value, right? So right now I'm only interested in getting the text. What is a text? The text is something which comes between the tags here. So if this is what I'm identifying, this is a text, this is an attribute, this is an attribute value. So if I want to fetch this, a size medium, something like that, I will going to call get attribute. In the bracket, I will pass class, I'm going to get this. If I want to get this value, I'm going to write get text. So it will give me this value. And this is that is what I need right now. So what I'll do, dot get text. This get text will return me, let's say I'm storing this in a temp. Now this will return me the text of it. And what if I validate this, I will write if m, and maybe something similar to what we wrote here, right? We already wrote this here. So if you notice in this case, this was a product description, this was a web element. The same object I was using, a same method I was applying on the object web element to get the text. Here also something similar I am doing. it just this time to access that web element, I am doing get 0, because in the 0th element of this list, I have a web element. On that web element, I am applying the method get text. I assume I have made myself very clear on what's happening with this and what is this find elements. So let's jump into the implementation part. So let me copy and paste these lines here. Okay, let's say element text, element text here. Okay, but what we are doing right now is not what we did earlier. This time what we need is to iterate each and every element. So what I need to do, I need to iterate this list of products. How we are going to do that? Using a for loop. So let me introduce a for loop here. Int I'm assuming you already are aware of how a for loop works. Then I, till when I need to iterate this, I need to write dot size I plus plus, and then I'm going to put this code directly inside the for loop. So what will happen this time? Every time for each iteration, list products dot get, I'll replace this. So first it will run for 0, then it will run for 1, then it will run for 2. So basically it is iterating each and every item in that list. And instead of doing this, maybe I can do one more thing. I can write here fail, right? Let me see if we have it. Dot fail string message. Yeah, actually that earlier version was right. Dot, I didn't need to add this here. So product not correctly displayed in the search result. And I can also print index. Product at index I plus 1. All right. So to make things further simple, I don't need this variable. Why? How about I just directly copy this and paste it here? So I even don't need this variable. Okay, and get text. How about the one more thing? So here it's coming in DELL. It's DELL, but I have seen somewhere it was all in capital. So for this, it will unnecessarily fail. So what I need to do, I need to handle this. If after get text, I'm going to convert this into lowercase, and this product name also I'm going to do lowercase. So what's happening? List of products dot get I get text. This will give me the text. Then the whole text I'm going to convert to lowercase. Everything will be converted to lowercase. And in that lowercase, I am checking whether the product name, which is again converted to a lowercase, is present there or not. Okay. So I am validating DELL is coming inside the whole string, which is again in a lowercase. So this actually gives me a tolerance against case. So it's not case sensitive. All I'm checking is DELL in whatever form is coming there or not, and that's how I'm going to achieve that. So this is going to iterate for all these pages, sorry, all these products, and eventually it's going to give me the desired result for it. Okay,